Welcome to Plugged In Australia Quick Charge, the shorter version of the show for when you want the main EV news without the full deep dive. This is Quick Charge for episode 55 for Thursday, the 14th of May 2026. And today we're covering the federal budget changes for EV buyers, what is happening with the EV FBT exemption, why a national road user charge has been put on hold, new funding for kerbside and regional charges, Kia's wild electric Stinger-style concept, Mazda delaying its own in-house EV, AI battery charging research, and Shell recharge chargers going onto Chargefox. Let's get into it. Alright, the biggest story today is the federal budget. The EV fringe benefits tax exemption is being wound back, but it is not disappearing overnight. The existing full EV FBT exemption continues in full until the end of March 2027. From the 1st of April 2027, the full exemption continues only for eligible EVs costing $75,000 or less. EVs above $75,000 but still below the luxury car tax threshold move to a 25% discount on payable FBT. From the 1st of April 2027, the full exemption continues only for eligible EVs costing $75,000 or less. EVs above $75,000 but still below the luxury car tax threshold move to a 25% discount on payable FBT. Then from the 1st of April 2029, all eligible EVs below the luxury car tax threshold move to the permanent 25% FBT discount. Existing leases are not affected, and eligible cars keep the discount that applied when the arrangement started for the life of the arrangement. So the key takeaway is timing. If you are looking at a higher priced EV through a novated lease, the important date is April 2027. If you're looking at an EV at $75,000 or less, the full exemption can still apply if the arrangement starts before April 2029. That could push even more buyers toward affordable EVs, and it could also pressure car brands to keep pricing under that $75,000 line. The second budget story is the road user charge. There's been a lot of speculation that the federal government might move on a national road user charge for EVs. For now, that has not happened. The road user charge has been put on hold while the federal government keeps working with states and territories. That's good news for EV owners in the short term, but the debate is definitely not over. Governments still have a long-term problem as more people move away from petrol and diesel, fuel excise revenue becomes less reliable. But the timing and design of any future road user charge matters. If Australia eventually does this, it needs to be national, fair, simple, and not messy state-by-state EV tax. The budget also includes $40 million for kerbside and regional EV chargers, plus $40.5 million to help electrify Australia Post's delivery fleet. Now that is important because charging access is still one of the biggest barriers for people who cannot charge at home. If you have a garage, solar, and a wall box, EV ownership can be easy. However, if you rent, live in an apartment, park on the street, or rely on public infrastructure, the experience is very different. Curbside charging is a big part of making EVs realistic for more Australians, not just people with driveways. Next, Kia could be working toward a proper electric successor to the Stinger. Kia's Vision Meta Turismo concept is a wild electric performance sedan or fastback style concept. And Kia's global design boss Karim Habib has indicated the brand still wants cars with emotional appeal, not just SUVs. Reports suggest the idea is real. However, the business case and cost of a high-performance EV are the big hurdles. One Kia Europe design executive has reportedly said a fastback variant is about 90% production ready. However, there is no Australian launch confirmation, no price, and no production spec as yet. It's still exciting. Now to Mazda. Mazda has delayed its next fully in-house dedicated EV once again, pushing it out to 2029. Instead, Mazda is leaning on its partnership with Chinese car maker Changan. For Australia, that means the Mazda 6e sedan and the CX-6e SUV are still coming, with both confirmed for local launch in 2026. That is the nuance here. Mazda is not skipping EVs in Australia, but its next EVs here are not pure, ground-up Japanese Mazda projects. They are partner-developed vehicles that Mazda has to make feel like proper Mazdas. Now that could work. Mazda has a strong dealer network and a loyal customer base in Australia, but the hard truth is that by delaying its own in-house EV, Mazda is giving faster-moving brands more time to pull ahead. This next story is about battery technology, and researchers from Chalmers University of Technology in Sweden, along with Victoria University of Wellington in New Zealand, have developed an AI-based fast charging method that could reduce battery wear without slowing down charging. The research used reinforcement learning to adapt charging current based on the battery's chemistry and state of health. In testing, the method achieved a 22.9% improvement in equivalent full cycles, while charging time stayed pretty much unchanged. 24.12 minutes compared with 24.15 minutes for conventional charging. That is promising, especially for people who fast charge often. But it is not ready for your car tomorrow. The next step is physical battery testing and calibration for different battery types. Still, it shows the battery life improvements might not come from just new chemistry, but from smarter software. Finally, Shell Recharge chargers are now appearing in the Chargefox app. Chargefox has teamed up with Viva Energy to make Shell Recharge sites available through Chargefox, starting with just 4 locations: Ready Express Mount Annan in New South Wales, Viva Energy Hub Corio in Victoria, OTR Linden Park in South Australia, and OTR Pulteney Street in South Australia. Drivers can access Shell Recharge plugs, including ultra-fast 350 kilowatt chargers, through the Chargefox app or RFID card, without needing a separate Shell Recharge account. More sites are expected over the next 12 months. This is the kind of practical improvement EV drivers need. More chargers matters, but easier access to chargers is also important. The Australian charging experience should not require 6 different apps, multiple accounts, and a backup plan every time you leave your own city. Find the charger, plug it in, pay, buzz off. That just should be standard. And that's it for Plugged In Australia Quick Charge. For the full deep dive, make sure you tune into the main episode 55, where we go into the budget changes, the road user charge debate, Kia's electric Stinger possibility, Mazda's EV strategy, and the charging stories in much more detail. As always, thank you so much for listening, and until the next time, stay plugged in and stay charged. Ci vediamo.